They're all like odds or evens, right?
Yeah. All right. So what are we doing? You wanted which problems?
14
14 and 16. Okay. All right. So I know some of you are still doing that, but I'll keep this up. 14 solve the distance. So I gave you 1, 3, negative 6, x. They told us the distance is root 74. So you know the distance formula is this. Is that all right? Yeah. All right, so you just have to pick which one's x1, y1, doesn't really matter. You know the distance is root 74. 6 minus 1, 20 squared plus x minus 3, 20 squared. So from there, you square both sides, get rid of the radical. And then you get, that's going to be, what, 49 plus x squared minus 6x plus 9. Is that right? Let's start combining like terms. Ooh. So subtract 4, let's see. I got 9, add to 49 is 58. Subtract 74. 16. X squared minus 6x minus 16. And x minus 8 and x plus 2. So x is equal to 8 and x is equal to negative 2. So there's 2 points that work. So 2 values that'll work because you have a distance and distance. So you could have 1, 3, negative 6, comma 8, and 1, 3, negative 6, comma negative 2 is the same distance. Cool. So Riley, grab a Chromebook or your phone and do the perception survey on me.
Sorry that took so long.
Oh, it's somebody blanked.
Yeah, who did that?
Oh man, I'll tell you. How long has that been up there? Crazy kids. We good there?
Yeah, then 16 is just exactly the same method.
16 is the exact same method, yeah. Anyone else need to see 16, or are you good with the method? Good? Everyone happy?
Yeah.
All right. Kinda. Hey, while I have you here, what numbers did we do? Don't say yet, because I'm going to grab a pen. What numbers did I do on that one?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18.
4, 8, 12, 14.
4, 8, 12, 14, what? 16, 17, 18? Cool. You gave me all the. Go on, give me. All right, make sure your names are on those and pass those on forward if you don't mind. Everyone have a copy of the notes? Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
My bad. Sorry.
What are you giving
What?
me?
You have a quiz on Monday?
Do we? No, like when is the quiz for 12?
Wednesday.
Oh, we're passing it up.
Yeah. That's why I told you why you giving it me.
Yeah, I was a little confused. I thought it was the one that we were passing
Can't take
around.
Sam anywhere.
So wet.
Oh, wait.
Oh, it's the same, but
I got a sheet right here.
being so mad.
No.
Yep.
I got all the homework.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no.
All right, She's doing the rejection survey for me.
She's gonna say never for all of them.
Teacher made me cry 3 times this year. I hate him.
Okay, so I'm going to apologize in advance for this lecture because it's going to twist your mind, which is okay a little bit. But remember back then when we started teaching parabolas, like way back in Algebra 1, and students always had the question, well, do they open right and left? Yeah, today they do. And so we're going to start talking about some of these parabolas, and these are basically the forms of it. And anytime you start seeing it x equals, and then you got like y squared, that means it's opening to the right or to the left. So let's do the basic ones. So the first one, remember the pattern graphing, right one up one, left one up one, right one up 3, left one up 3. Remember the pattern graphing? Amuse me and say yeah. And then on the blue one, it shifts up 3, but it's growing downward. So I'll go right one down 1, left one down 1, right one down 3, left one down 3. Sometimes it'll find an exact root for you by pattern graphing. Sometimes it doesn't. And then the green one, that's going to have a shift to the left of 3. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't go up or down at all. And the pattern graphing goes right one up 2, left one up 2, right one up 6, left one up 6. Blessing you. Blessing you again. So you remember that from graphing. And, maybe you forgot the pattern graphing, but it's not the toughest thing. But those are all things that we've seen before. And remember the number out front, or the A value, is what stretches it or compresses it. It stretches it if it's a number larger than 1. It compresses it if it's a number that's between 0 and 1, so a fraction or decimal. We good so far? Can I move on? All right, so what do we do when we need to graph x equals y squared? Well, it becomes sideways. So some people might say, well, I like it when it's y equals. Oh, okay. Well, then you get this. Ooh. Remember, if you take the square root of both sides, you have to have a plus or minus. So this is going to do this way. It's still going to pattern graph. So I'm going to go up 1, right 1, up 1, right 3. And this parabola opens sideways. Now, one thing to note. A sideways parabola is no longer a function because it doesn't pass the vertical line test. Okay? And that's okay. I mean, you can have graphs that aren't functions. Remember, a function means the domain doesn't repeat. The domain here repeats because the vertical line test, if we drew a vertical line, it would cross it twice. Okay? Could you, if you got stuck on something like this, plug numbers in? Heck yeah. You know it's going to fit between the negative and positive 10. So you can easily plug values in and get answers out. Can I move on? All right, so good to go? All right. I'll let you know each period how you did. Cool. All right, so when we see this, if this graph had been something like this, this would shift up 4, correct?
Yeah.
Now we got to twist the way we think. So this would have went up 4, but this is going to now go right 4. Okay, so it kind of twists in your head, going, what? That doesn't seem right. So it goes right 4. And then because the negative, it opens left. And so the pattern graph is still the same with 1, 3, 5. So I'll go up 1, left 1, down 1, left 1, up 1, left 3, 1, 2, 3, left 1, down 3. So we get this nice new sideways parabola.
He's not here.
Perfect. Uh-oh. Ben.
Stupid.
Yeah, go ahead. We good there? Vertical line test, still not a function. Everyone feel okay without that? See how it's kind of twisting in your head a little bit, going, it's doing what I didn't think it would do. But that's okay. All right, so parabolas that open to the left or the right have equations with x equals and y squared. The coefficient that is negative means the parabola opens to the left. Okay, so x equals y, or x equals a quantity y minus k squared plus h has a vertex at hk. Notice this is kind of flip-flopped. See where the k, so normally if we have a parabola in vertex form, it's this. You see how things flip-flopped in it though with the letters, the h and the k flip-flopped? Okay, so this is how it traditionally is. So remember, it's going to, in this case, how that shifts, you have to think, what's it doing right, left? It's not dealing with the up, down, so it's going to be reverse of normally what you would think. Okay, so we got to keep that in mind. So I'm going to write that down over here so we can refer to it, mainly for me. Okay, so let's keep that in mind right there, okay? Can I move on? All right, so y equals, that's the traditional one, y equals x minus h quantity squared plus k. X equals a, y minus k. So the big note is seeing how the h and k flip-flop. So if a is greater than 1, the parabola will have a stretch. And if it's between 0 and 1, it will compress. And sometimes they might say shrink. So both those words probably could be used interchangeably. So this will be a fatter parabola. This is skinny.
Maybe just ate too many Pop-Tarts.
That could be. All okay? Everyone still on notes? If not, we got the video. Can I move on? All right, so y equals 2x squared. Let's go ahead and graph this. So you're going to have 0, 0. It's going to go right 1 up 2, left 1 up 2, right 1 up 6, left 1 up 6. So that's a traditional one. This one is going to do the same thing, so it has the 0, 0. Ooh, it's 1/2 though. Uh-oh, it's going to be fatter. So it's not going to go up 1, right 1. It's going to go up 1, half, and half. And then this will go up 1 from the half and go right 3 over 2, which is 1.5. So there's 1.5. Nice, fat, sideways parabola.
Oh, because it was y squared.
Yeah. Did you give me good marks?
Yep.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Finally, someone gave me good marks. Everyone else, I'll cry myself to sleep all summer.
I gave you good ones.
I knew you would, Cupcake.
Always for you.
All right, parabola will still have the pattern of 1, 3, 5. And remember, you're taking whatever the a value is times it to make 1, 3, 5. Do what?
I wrote Mr. Sturt paid me to give him
He said that everyone's got a low letter grade till he sees.
Yeah, he said,
I think you should have drawn my
Surprise
test
found
grades to give you all great scores.
You found the what?
actually, I don't know if I want to tell everyone because.
All right, you tell me personally. All right. Okay,
Secret, man.
secret. I love secrets. All right, so this one, it's -3, so it's going to shift 3 this way. Is that okay? Does this one open right or left? Left, and in pattern graph says the 1, 3, 5, so So the vertex here is, come on guys, vertex here is what?
-3, 0.
Good, -3, 0, opens left, vertical stretch, well, it's just, the vertical stretch is just a flip, and then, so, does it stretch or shrink? It does neither, it just flips. How would we know if it was a stretch? We would have a whole number, we'd have -3 or -5 in front of the y. For a stretch, we'd have -0.5 for a shrink if it didn't. Moving on. Yay. All right, this one, traditional. So the vertex is 5, 0, yes? I'm going to go right one up 2, left one up 2, right one up 6, left one up 6. So it opens up, vertical stretch by a factor of 2. Okay? So that's just a traditional one in vertex form. Why doesn't it go up or down? We're not adding or subtracting anything from it. Ready?
Yep.
Ready. Rut-row, Raggy.
Would it go up, down 3 then? It's like opposite, I guess, of what we think.
Okay. So let's bring that 6 over. Is that okay so far?
Yeah.
So remember, we refer to this. So my vertex is going to be at -6, -3. Remember, it's going to be flipped. It'll be flipped on us because it's sideways. So -6, -3. It's going to open left or right. Left because I have a negative. And it's going to shrink by a factor of -0.5. So rather than going 1, 3, 5, it's going to give me -1/2, -3/2, -5/2. So -3/2 is -1.5, -5/2 is -2.5. So from here, I'm going to go up 1, left half, down 1, left half, up 1, right, 1.5, left 1, or down 1. Okay. So a few things that come with parabolas that we don't talk about a whole lot. You don't need to know this, but there is a point out here that is called the focus. And then there's a vertical line back here that's called the directrix. And the focus is at, I'm not even going to. I'm not going to throw the equation in because it'll goof you up. You don't need to know it. What the focus is for a parabola is this. Why, when you turn a flashlight on, does it go in a straight line? It's because you have a parabolic lens that's the mirror, and the light itself is at the focus. So what happens, here's your physics lesson for today. If this was your light bulb here, this has, all of the light rays are going to come in and go out in a straight line. And this is why your flashlight works the way it does. Now there are solar things that work. Does anyone have radiant heat to heat your water in your home? If you don't, everyone probably has a water heater. Actually, the state requires you to have a water heater just in case the sun burns out. hate to tell you this, but the sun burns out. We're in a lot more trouble than you not having hot water here.
I feel like
probably
did.
So how the radiant heat works, this is not a solar panel. This doesn't create electricity on your house. These are usually about 6 to 8 feet long, and it's kind of a curved metal apparatus. So when the sun comes into it, all the light that goes into it directs all of the light back out onto the focus, and the focus is where you have water going through, and it actually superheats it very much. This is why like a magnifying glass works as well as it does. When you put a magnifying, when you're trying to burn ants, I don't know if you did that as a kid. If not, do it. It's fun.
Snakes.
You take that magnifying glass and you find that fine point. That point that you've done is actually called the focus. Okay? And that allows all of the light coming in to be generated right at that exact point. Okay? There was theory that some of the olden days when they had ships coming into harbors that they didn't want, like wartime ships, they said that they all took mirrors and a bunch of them stood in a parabolic arc, getting the focus onto the ship. So all the light that comes in goes out to the ship. Mythbusters, thanks to them, they debunked it. But theoretically, that could be used as a weapon. You could use the sun as a weapon if you had mirrors and you were able to change the concavity of your mirror. It changes where the focus exists further, backwards and forwards.
Doesn't the military now have like heat rays they can use?
I don't know. Do is what?
I think they have like heat rays on ships they can use to like irritate the other people like really
Maybe.
bad. So like it's non-lethal, but it's a weapon.
It's not a weapon if it's not lethal. Blow them up! All right, let's see. So the vertex here, remember, we're going to take a look at this. Our vertex is going to be at -4, -2. Remember, it goes a little backwards. So -4, -2. Down here. Does this parabola open right or left?
Right.
It goes to the right because it's positive out in front of the quantity, the y plus 2. Okay, and so it'll go at a 1, 3, 5. So it opens right. So I'm going to go up 1, right 1, left, down 1, right 1, up 1, right 3, left 1, right 3. So there's that. Is there a stretch or shrink? Neither. Okay, because I don't have anything out here. There's no value out front. Thank you.
Cool. So basically with these graphs, like it looks the same as the x ones, but it's opposite.
Is this the last graph? Yes. All right. So, how do we change the equation to vertex form? Okay, so we have to remember how to complete the square. Oh, okay. All right, ready? We're going to complete the square. The very first non-mathematical term in completing the square is make a space. So make a space. Whatever you add, you have to subtract. Is that okay so far? So then when you come down here, all it is, bring down an x, bring that sign that's in front of the linear term, that's the x term, same sign. What is half of 6? 3. What is 3 squared? 9. If I add 9, I also have to subtract 9. So this right here is my perfect square trinomial. If I took x plus 3 and FOILed it with x plus 3, I get x squared plus 6x plus 9. And then I do the arithmetic on the outside. So positive 3 minus 6, I get this. So that's now written in vertex form. So that's our vertex form. So this would tell us we have a vertex at -3, -6. Okay. Now if we complete the square on this bottom one, it's the same exact operation. Okay. I'm trying to get a perfect square trinomial out of this. So x stays as is. I'm going to go y squared plus 2y minus 8. I made the space, the big non-mathematical term. Now I need to fill that space. So I'm going to make my binomial. So the y comes down. That sign's always the same. What's half of 2? 1. What's 1 squared? If I add 1, I also subtract 1. So if I took y plus 1 times y plus 1, FOIL it out or double distribute it, I would get this. That's my perfect squared trinomial. And then I get minus 9. Right then and there, I put it into vertex form. So this would give me a vertex at -9, comma, -1 would be the vertex. Remember, we have to think backwards when it's x equals. And then what happens if we have, well, this is just going to be traditional parabola. So let's do this. Let's complete the square on the x squared. First step, make space. X plus half of 8 is 4. 4 squared is 16. If I add 16 over here, can I add 16 over here? I normally did addition and subtraction when I was on the very same side, but now I'm on opposite sides of the equal sign. So I can go ahead and add that 16 to both sides. That's kind of a goofy trick. Combine like terms, so I get this. And then if I wanted to find the vertex of this, well, it's kind of looking goofy. So let's move the 27 back over. So I'm going to get x plus 4, quantity squared, minus 27 equals 3y. Divide everything by 3 to get y by itself. So I'd get 1/3 x plus 4 squared. And then 27 divided by 3 is negative 9. So I'd have a vertex at -4, comma, -9. That's just a traditional parabola. Good? Holy crow, we got it done.
Or would it be -9, 4?
Do what?
-9, -4. Is that flipped?
It's not flipped. That's a regular parabola because you could solve it for y equals. Y equals is going to be up-down parabola.
Okay.
This is
13. Oh.
so that's the flip one because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
x equals. That one's y equals.
Okay.
It's just they have y kind of buried. All right. Let's do
Odds.
let's odds 12b odds. I'll go with that.
What are you going to do?
Cool.
No, because
So guys and girls, I just need to let you know, please, let's get you in and do that capstone. Remember, you only need to get a 6. You only need a 6 out of 10 now because we lowered the score. So if you get a 6 out of 10, that gets you the 20 out of 20 quiz score, which is good stuff.
The extra points would
That gives you a big smiley face. So when you're sitting at that B minus, that B minus might look like an A minus, or the B plus might look like an A minus.
that B minus might look like an A.
That B minus might look like a B. I don't know. Did we give B minuses? I don't remember.
No, that's not
Cannot
college.
straight A become
Or like,
Huh?
So
So make
if,
it an A plus if it's an
Do we have A pluses?
yeah.
yeah, but like,
We do?
A. Class probably not.
96
I mean,
and above.
technically we have A pluses, but like, who gets an A
It
plus?
doesn't weigh anything.
I guess besides my sister.
Okay.
So if like we have it like an 87, it would be a 90.
Not that much of
I
a
mean,
sway.
like 88.
So I think the B plus is from.
88.
Is it an 88?
88. A B plus is an 87. No, it's an 88. No,
So
it's an 88.
so I will know this when I look at the thing on your grade. It'll say B plus on it, and all I need to do is see the B plus and say, oh, they satisfied those extra points, so we're happy.
If you got like a 79, would you be like, that looks like an 80 to me?
That does.
Nice.
When will you tell us if you drop it?
I don't know. We got to meet. We can't have any more snow days.
We won't